Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome back to another channeled message. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. It really means a lot to me. It's really helped me to continue to grow this channel, and I really love the comments that I get from you all. And I'm going to try to remember to give you an emoji suggestion at the end of every group. That way, it doesn't mean that you have to sit there and figure out what you want to say. Otherwise, that emoji just says, hey, it resonated. If you're brand new to this channel, my name is Kamara. I'm a psychic medium. I channel my ancestors, the ancient sacred Sibyls, and spirit itself. So, all energies that sit at the feet of spirit know that these channeled messages are received and delivered with care. So, the channeled message, the spirit said, how you defeat the final boss. Now, I know somebody suggested that I add more gray hair. People don't think that this is the end. But I always figure the final boss is the most maturest form of ourselves, right? And the final boss doesn't have to be you, but typically when we think about the final boss, this is that part of ourselves that we may spend a lifetime trying to heal, trying to come to resolution with. But if that's us, the final boss is us, then that's usually who it is. A trait, a pattern of self doubt, procrastination, maybe fear of change. That could be our final boss. Now, the final boss could also be someone you know, could be someone in your family, could be a former friend or a former lover. So, take it. We're going to see where it resonates and take it where it resonates. So, you all, we have 4 groups. The timestamps will be in the description box below. And feel free with these avatars to switch them around as needed. And we are going to go ahead and get started. Let me talk to you about what we're going to get some answers to, like the nature of this final boss, the steps that you need to take to confront this final boss, what will be your best battle strategy, and then finally, just what do you inherit from defeating this boss? What are you going to accomplish? What are going to be the ending insights? So it sounds kind of juicy. So, anyway, my honeys, let's go ahead and get started with group number 1. Hello, group number 1. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your channeled message on how you defeat the final boss. So, first, we're going to ask, who is this final boss? What's their characteristics? What's their personality type? So that you can get a vibe check. And then we'll go from there. All right, group number 1, you have some cards already coming out. Yeah. So, this final boss, I would say for a few of you in group number 1, is actually someone that you know, someone that you used to be close to, but it ended up in betrayal. For some of you, this was a best friend. For others of you, this could have been someone that you were in an intimate relationship with. This person definitely had a fear of intimacy, a fear of getting close. Um, Maybe one of the many issues in your relationship was that they never gave you the emotional care you needed. So this was someone who just was afraid of feelings. Um, and they, instead of really kind of working to see if they could connect with their feelings, they used they just never they avoided things very often or became very intimidated by what you were suggesting in terms of being in a more trustworthy relationship, I'm hearing. This person, I think in the beginning, they came towards you with a proposal of a relationship that was really passionate. It was proposed to be the one. They were going to be the one. If they were a friend, they were really excited to get to know you. I think over time, what you begin to experience is their kind of flightiness. Like anytime there was any kind of indication of tension, they were ready to leave the scene. If there was something you wanted to talk about, they became very avoidant. So, in many ways, this, for many of you, you kind of turned the critical eye on yourself. You were wondering why, what was wrong with you, group number one, in this relationship. Like, why, if they're so perfect for me, why do I feel so incomplete? For some of you, you may have felt lonely in the relationship, as if the times that you thought that you both would have some closeness, things became cold and distant. Oftentimes, if they did appear to open up, they would disappear after that for quite some time, and the communications would be kind of inconsistent. This final boss of yours, group number one, it kind of played with your head a little bit, because whenever this person would come back, after some time, they would pretend as if nothing ever happened, that they didn't disappear, that it was all in your head, or you were overreacting. They had things to do and they don't have to answer to you. If they were a friend, it always felt as if they would turn their focus on other people. Not that they couldn't have other friends, but it almost seemed as in an attempt to kind of cast you out when things got, when things got some tension around it. They would tend to try to flock to other situations and, just never take your messages, your calls, however you communicated with them. So, that was this final boss. I would say, in spirit, is saying here that this was somebody who, in many ways, seemed to always be moving away from you, group number one, not towards you. And for some of you, spirit is saying this triggered maybe old childhood wounds of abandonment, just feeling as if you were giving a lot to this relationship, only to have this person feel as if your investment in the relationship didn't matter. That you could be gone tomorrow and they would have a new relationship or other friends, and it just never felt safe for you, this relationship. So that's kind of the personality or the energy of this final boss. For some of you, only if you're honest with yourself, this might be you. This might be you. But for many of you, it is the energy of a person you used to know. So, what steps do you need to take to confront this final boss? Because I think even if this happened years ago, group number one, spirit is saying that this is something that still rotates every once in a while back into your consciousness. This energy, this person that you really just couldn't understand. And you still may, many of you, ruminate on the fact that this might have been all your fault, or something about you just didn't quite make the cut with them. So, what steps would you need to take to confront this final boss? Well, Spirit is saying immediately that one, you need to lessen the ruminating thoughts, quiet those thoughts, and maybe find some way to stop thinking over and over again about trying to figure out why. Spirit is saying here that in many cases, the only why you needed to know was that this person, they leave situations when they feel like they are emotionally triggered. And Spirit is saying that regardless of if it was you or someone else, this person is still in that same pattern, running away, leaving. And Spirit is saying it's very true here with the Ace of Swords that the way that whenever they have some kind of challenging thought, even some kind of challenging feeling, their instinct, their autopilot is to leave. And so confronting this boss, I really do feel like Spirit is saying here that to confront this boss, you really have to change the part of you that wants to know all of the whys, the part of you that wants to stop them from leaving in some cases. For some of you, depends on the timeline, you may still be in a back and forth with this person. For others of you, this is years ago, but it still has an impact on how you think about yourself in relationships. And Spirit is saying, allow for yourself to experience the newness of a relationship without this being in the shadow, without this being in the background. So it's time to offer yourself the kind of nurturing you were trying to get from this person, group number one. And Spirit says that will be a way that you begin to confront the issue. Confronting the issue is not so much trying to get their attention to solve it, but for you to piece apart that what's yours and what's theirs. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit. What is yours and what is theirs? So, what's going to be your battle strategy? Because you're going to really need to know what to do here. Group number one, you're going to need to understand that deep within you is the model of the perfect relationship. Whether that's an intimate relationship or a friendship, the model is about you coming to home within yourself. Somewhere inside of you is a balance. And you've got to understand when you enter into relationships where there's an imbalance, whether someone's trying to take too much from you or you're trying to overgive in that relationship. And the real strategy here, Spirit is saying, is for you to deeply start to care for yourself, deeply nurture yourself, deeply love yourself, and not to expect that coming from the outside in. Spirit is saying for you, group number one, that that experience or this current experience is happening because you need to know how to redirect all of that energy that you're pouring into someone else back into yourself, so that you really know what the care and the nurturing feels like, because you can supply it yourself. And to understand that when we want these relationships, we don't come in trying to extract the very thing that we need. We come in already self-sufficient in many ways, and that the relationship is more about an addition to whatever you can provide for yourself. That's how Spirit is showing it. Wow. So that would be your strategy. to already be that loving, kind, attentive, present person for yourself first. And then when you're well practiced, then of course you can give, but you're not giving from a deficit. Group number one. So, what new strengths, what new insights will you take away from this? Spirit says this is actually you getting into this practice. Group number one is going to really increase your fortune. There's something here where even when you're pouring so much energy into others, it even takes away from your prosperity. You're also going to be able to identify people. Spirit says you're going to be able to identify people that have these traits. You're going to be able to identify them now early on. And Spirit says, and you'll clearly have the choice up front to not engage with these kinds of personality types. Spirit again is saying there's some kind of block. This is blocking some kind of financial abundance for you. So the sooner, group number one, that you take care of this, you're going to see an influx of maybe opportunities, maybe for some of you, even money. Yeah, because Spirit is saying what you can really guarantee in terms of what you will accomplish is a deep connection with your fun, with your joy, with being who you are and not having to change who you are because you're afraid it may rock the boat with someone. Yeah, Spirit is confirming that to know that this relationship, it was meant to just teach you. It wasn't meant to be something that you just stick around in and tolerate and endure. Yeah. So, final messages. Final messages for group number one. That might have been the final message. Yeah. Wish fulfillment, Nine of Pentacles. I think when you defeat this final boss, your whole prosperous material life is just going to open up. Spirit is saying it's going to be on fire. It's almost as if this is blocking it. And when you release this relationship, when you release these traits, it's like your whole world becomes new again. It's brand new fertile soil for success, group number one. And you may not see how it's all connected, but you will once you find the courage to just really stop thinking or, stop contacting this person if you know that's where you want to go. And Spirit says that void that they leave will be filled by something much more prosperous, something you can't imagine. So, group number one, if any or part of this message resonated for you, could you please give me a thumbs up? It's a way to help me grow this brand new channel. It helps other people to see this reading. And if you like the way that I channel messages, please consider subscribing to my brand new channel. And if you click the bell, you will get notified when I upload new tarot readings as well as channeled messages. And if this is where we part, group number one, wow, congratulations on defeating your final boss. Okay, my honeys, take care. Hello, group number two. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your channeled message on how you defeat the final boss. So, group number two, we're first going to talk about the nature of this final boss, and you can decide, is this you or is this a person external to you that has held some kind of power in your life? So, this final boss actually is a very charming person. They have a lot of romantic charm. Could be someone that you were once intimately involved with. The same happened for group number 1. But this person also used those qualities as a way of expressing their power too. Very interesting. This person also at times could be very cruel. Using their power to manipulate and control people. Maybe for some of you, using their position to control people. This person also was very much into the workaround, the shortcuts, trying to figure out how they could get what they really desired without having to do all the work attached to it. And sometimes in life, they would take these kind of risk that would impact those around them. I don't know why, but I'm getting for someone, this is a parent of someone. Yeah, this person had more of a role in your life as someone who would have either taken care of you, would have mentored you. This is someone who didn't really teach you the things that you needed in life. So that's why I'm getting this as a parent, group number 2. A parent that didn't actually ever commit to the family in terms of creating a environment of stability, a safe environment for some of you. This parent was often off on the road doing what they wanted to do. They may have had a gambling problem. I'm hearing that very specifically for someone. You may have spent a lot of your time with this final boss, serving their every need. When they were around, you did so much to try to make them comfortable so that they would stay. I'm seeing that for someone. So there was something here about this parent, final boss, being so dependent on other people. This may have been a parent too that, I hate to say it, did a lot of scams, really tried to get over on people, much to maybe your embarrassment, group number 2. Yeah, they may have contributed to a lot of your early childhood wounds, especially around feeling abandoned. Just the feeling of how this person, this final boss, I think you always wanted love from them. I think you always wanted to prove to them that you were lovable, that you were worthy of love, group number 2. So that is the nature of this final boss. And so, what steps would you need to take to confront this final boss? Spirit is saying for a few of you, you've done several bouts of confrontation over the years. Well, Spirit is saying one is to confront them on the betrayal that you feel, the betrayal that you experienced as a young child, the betrayal that you even feel now, because if this parent is still around, some of you are still dealing with their personality traits. Some of you are loaning this parent money. Some of you are having to clean up some of this parent's messes. Yeah. Spirit is saying here that in many ways, when this parent comes around, they turn you into an upside down Queen of Swords. You don't always use logic when they're around because group number 2, spirit is saying that you are often activated by this person. And when you're activated, it's hard to think straight. And they know how to push your buttons. They know how to even spirits using this word scam you. Like they know that when you get into a certain kind of mood, you become more confused and muddled, and they can take advantage of the facts. Yeah, we have 10 of cups in reverse. This is not a very safe family member, group number 2, regardless of their role when it comes to you. And spirit is saying here, maybe you have been holding on to a lot of, how do I want to say this, judgments around maybe taking this person out of your life. Maybe this is apparent because for some people, it's really hard to go no contact with their parent. But here, Spirit is pointing to you, group number 2, that the beginning of what would be the battle strategy between you and this old final boss. I don't know why I said old, so it just definitely feels like an older person. Is that you're going to have to become confident about the things you do want in your life, the people you do want in your life. Because Spirit is saying here, yeah, there's been so many broken dreams as a result of this parent's personality. And it came to a part in your life, group number 2, where you had to reject your dreams. Like you just never felt like dreams could ever happen because so much of your childhood and growing up with this parent meant disappointment. And Spirit is saying here, the battle strategy is to finally begin to realize your dreams, group number 2, to stop focusing on this parent and all the chaos they're bringing in, and to start focusing on your dreams, your goals, your intentions. Spirit is saying that they know this would be a difficult decision for some because maybe in your culture, maybe in your extended family, you have been kind of groomed to accept the actions of this parent or a family member, I'm hearing. So for some people, it might be a family member, other people, it's a parent. But here's what Spirit is saying about your battle strategy, how to defeat the limitations that you put on yourself because of this relationship, is to start to cultivate your own inner authority. Start to cultivate your own sense of happiness. And know it has nothing to do with this person and everything to do with you, your own inner peace. Some of you, Spirit saying, have to protect your nervous system. You're just giving this person time after time more and more access to make you dismantled, to take you, to make you feel ungrounded, to gaslight you. And so Spirit number 2, I said Spirit number 2, that's interesting. I don't know why. But group number 2, Spirit is saying here, there might be like 2 guides advising you right now because I feel like it's Spirit, but someone else came in. Okay. It's an ancestor of yours, someone that you knew when they were alive, maybe a grandparent, maybe another parent. Some kind of family member of yours is coming in, group number 2, and they're saying, please do not feel like you need to be loyal to this person. This person has a lot of work to do, and they're only here to cause a lot of chaos. And I know this person caused a lot of chaos. That's what I'm hearing from this ancestor. They're saying, I should have done something while I was still able to. But right now, if you could hear me, group number 2, saying this ancestor, do what you feel will make you happy in your life. Wow. They're really wanting to give you that permission as if you need it. But if you do, that ancestor's coming through to say, take your life and live it, group number 2. Because the new strengths that you are going to be able to enjoy is that you're going to find that you have so many strengths from trying to deal with the inconsistencies of this parent. You're going to be able to utilize your own talents, your own skills for negotiating the things you want. So they're saying that some kind of spiritual turnaround is going to happen for you, group number 2. I don't know if this is my psychic group, but it's alluding to the fact that you may start to become spiritually self-aware as a result of doing something about this final boss, meaning defeating them. You're also going to find so much more happiness. I mean, that's what this ancestor, even spirit, is saying. You're going to be so much more calm, so much more happy, so much feeling of wellness is there. Yeah. They want you to be very careful the next time this parent tries to drag you into things, or family member, just to know that you're on solid ground when you're not around them. They want you to take notice of when they're not around, how much you get done, how much you get accomplished. But when they are around, when they're calling or texting or coming over unannounced or wanting things from you, how does that make you feel? And they want you to just compare that for a moment, group number 2, and understand how much better your life would be if you had balanced, respectful relationships in your life. For some of you, the avatar is right. This is either a blonde or a gray-haired, feminine presenting person. Doesn't have to be for everyone, but the person could have all gray hair, or they can have some light-colored hair. So, group number 2. Let's get one final message for you to close it out. One final closing message. Yeah, just like group number 1, if you defeat this final boss, group number 2, you will find that you are in a state of wish fulfillment. You will be so prosperous. You will have all the luck in the world. You are going to realize a brand new life with a brand new feeling, group number 2. So if you resonate with any or part of this reading, group number 2, could you please give me a thumbs up? It's a way to help me grow this brand new channel and make sure that people get a chance to listen to a channeled message that might impact them in some way. And if you like the way that I channel messages, could you please please subscribe rather to this channel. And if you click the bell, you will get notified when I upload new channel messages and tarot readings. And if this is where we part, group number 2, yeah, you are really being encouraged by spirit and your ancestors to do what's best for you. Okay, take care, my honeys. Hello, group number 3. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your reading on how you defeat the final boss. Now, the final boss can be interpreted a number of different ways. That can be a person outside of you that you may have inadvertently or unconsciously, maybe even consciously, given your power to, or that you needed to feel like you needed to fight or defend yourself from. Or it could be low-key you. That's the final boss sometimes, is you. The final op sometimes is us. So, group number 3. First thing we're going to do is describe the nature of this final boss. Like, what's their personality type? And then that way you could tell, is it someone that you've been dealing with, or is it a trait, unfortunately, you've been dealing with within yourself? And then from there, we're going to talk about the steps that you need to take to confront this boss, maybe the battle strategy, like in order for you to overcome this defeating limitation. And then lastly, just what new strengths or insights will you realize from this defeating this final boss? Okay, so let's get to the nature of this final boss. This final boss has had to deal with learning how to surrender to the divine, learning how to fully trust spirit. Yeah, because in some ways, this final boss finds it hard to embrace their creative energy, especially when it comes to manifesting good things in their life. Group number 3. Sometimes it's hard to celebrate, for this boss to celebrate their beauty, to celebrate who they are just as they are. So group number 3, I'm going to tell you already, this seems strongly different from group 1 and 2, which group 1 and 2 felt like an external energy, while I think this is more of an internal battle. So your final boss, and take it where it resonates, may be within. Yeah. This final boss also finds it hard to stop themselves from trying to get people to do the things they want to do just because they're anxious about things. There's some issues with control. And sometimes when that control is not working out, there may be, I guess this is what I'm hearing more accurately, is that other people may accuse this final boss of manipulating them when they don't get their way. Because this final boss has a deep need for security, for things to go their way. They may even struggle with perfectionism. And lastly, this final boss sometimes can be destructive with the power that they have. They may even have romantic delusions. This may be someone who suffers from a lot of limerence, meaning you are taking one kind of interaction with someone as a deep, longing relationship that you both have, when there's really not a lot of basis in reality for that person liking you or having a crush on you. Yeah, I would say this final boss, the feeling of this final boss is they're trying to free themselves from destructive patterns, becoming obsessed with people, using their power in a way to try to control others. And you all take it on the spectrum. It doesn't all have to be like super intense. It could be very subtle, but there is a need and a longing there. So that would be the nature of this final boss. And if you feel like it's within you, group number 3, then this is your channeled message. So group number 3, what steps would you need to take to confront this boss? Because there's a lot of needs here, right? The patterns are very needy, codependent even. Yeah, I think one thing that Spirit says is that you would need to sharpen your tools of intellect in terms of using facts to state your case, even internally, giving yourself a very factual review of how you have been healing in your life, group number 3, because this final boss, if it's within, it's definitely a critic. It's definitely a wounded child, even. And so, for this final boss, you have to do things to challenge their viewpoints. You have to challenge that everything is wrong. And you do that by giving it a tour of your life now, group number 3. You show them that you have made certain um, progress, like your progress has been made. Like, this is just an example, but you could show this inner critic, this final boss, that you actually have a new job, you have a new career, you may have a new partner, you do save your money. So there's something there about you needing to address the intensity of this final boss within, because I think it keeps you from making decisions. It always wants to present you with the other side, or a different point of view, one that often isn't very beneficial to you. So maybe you have hard times making decisions, group number 3. You seem to ruminate on a lot of issues. And this could hold you back from new financial beginnings, to be honest, or new material beginnings, because you're constantly in this loop of like, is this the right choice? No, maybe I should make this choice. And in the end, some people might even finally just give up from deciding. And that could be a choice within itself. For some of us in group number 3, the final boss is a voice of a masculine in our life. Maybe a voice that you heard in early childhood from your father, or some kind of male identified caregiver. And so it's important to know here, group number 3, that it's hard to take action when that voice of that final boss is so powerful, so pervasive when it comes to your own mental thoughts. So, Spirit is saying here that the only way to really confront this is through increasing the volume on your own nurturing voice, on the voice of love, the voice that you want to cultivate is one of kindness and love towards yourself. And Spirit is saying here, when it comes to what kind of battle strategy you should use to try to defeat this final boss, wow, we had the same card, I think, in group number 2, is to look at your dreams, look at your intentions and your goals, and to understand that this final boss wants to take those things away from you. And that's something that you have to fight for. You have to fight for the deservability. You have to fight for your worth, group number 3. And so, Spirit is saying here, the battle strategy is for you to understand that you're the only one that can accept or reject a dream. You're the only one that has that power. And so the battle strategy is to begin to heal that wounded part, the part that's always saying we can't do it. This is why we can't do it. This is impossible. And you need to turn the volume down on that voice and turn the volume up on your most nurturing side. There's room to grow here. This choice, if it isn't right, it doesn't mean a failure. It just means a redirection. You see how you can begin to steer away from purely negative inner critic. Yeah, let's find out what would be a new strength or insight that you would accomplish here. Most definitely, group number 3, you will, after you defeat this final boss, you're going to feel like you've overcome so many problems. It's almost as if you can relax into your decision making and know that you have even the time and the energy to persevere. And it's going to allow you to experience new experiences without feeling like, maybe for some of you, I'm hearing from Spirit, without feeling guilty. And you get to pay attention to your health too. For some of you, this final boss has consumed all of your decision making, has consumed even the way that you take care of yourself. So, this is important, group number 3, that when you defeat this final boss, that you begin to unapologetically focus on yourself, giving yourself free time, giving yourself a bit of lightheartedness. Not everything has to be serious, not everything has to be controlled. Yeah, from here, you're going to begin to feel your own inner strength, which means that you won't feel as compelled to try to control others because your own strength feels grounding. It feels good to you. Where you're going feels good to you. What you know in the current moment feels good to you. Group number 3. So let's see if there's any other additional messages from Spirit regarding this final boss. Yeah. Be careful for the way that it may trick you into believing you've done all the work. That's what I'm hearing from group number 3 from Spirit. It's just, it has a way of tricking you to think, nah, you don't need any help. You don't need to think about this more. You've done all you've needed to do to make this decision. Yeah, there's a 2 of Wands here. Again, when it comes to making a decision, which direction do you go? What action do you take? So, group number 3, a lot of how you are going to defeat this final boss has to do with your own inner knowing, your own self-awareness, and understanding that you may need to take time to be alone. You may not fulfill all of the things that someone wants you to fulfill. You may need to go to bed and wake up in the morning with fresh new thoughts. Something like that. Yeah. This is not a time, group number 3, to walk away from your dreams. And so defeating this final boss, it'll level you up in so many ways because you deserve to have the people in your life that you want in your life. You deserve to have whatever resources are there in your life, the people, the friends, the family. You deserve all of that. You're worthy of all of that. So Spirit is saying to get out of the energy of the hanged one and get into the energy of action by beginning to heal yourself, by beginning to share who you are at a vulnerable level, and allow for people to decide how they are going to participate with you, how they're going to show up for your healing process. You know, you'll find that some don't do much and others do so much. After this, you will be maybe in a mood, group number 3, to go within and just really figure out what voice is yours versus what voice is that of the final boss. And to get comfortable and just really see how that energy can take you off course if you're not careful. So, group number 3, this is what I have for you. And if you resonate with any or part of this reading, could you please give it a thumbs up? It's a way to help me grow this brand new channel. And if you like what I shared, some of the channeled messages even, could you give me could you subscribe to this channel rather? And if you subscribe, you click that bell, you'll get notified when I upload new channeled messages. And so group 3, if this is where we part, thank you so much for these insights. Thank you so much for focusing on yourself and your healing. Okay, my honeys. Hello, group number 4. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and this is your channeled message. How do you defeat the final boss? Now, Spirit's been saying the final boss could be you, could be some traits that you want to shift and heal, and the final boss could be an external person or group. So let's find out. We're going to find out what's the nature, who is this final boss, what's their characteristics. And I think from there you would find out, group number 4, if it's a final boss within you or a final boss without on the external. So this final boss has a lot of humility and devotion, especially when it comes to being a lifelong learner. Which is interesting because your avatar, if you're going left to right, is holding a book. So this final boss loves to learn. And this final boss even feels empowered at some kind of physical level to confront what they need, like to confront their needs, to face their needs. There may be some issue there. And I think that's why, because I'm not really saying it the way Spirit is like telling me right now. So let me go back on this, because Spirit is saying sometimes this final boss doesn't know how to communicate their needs. That's what it is. And so this final boss may sometimes end up feeling like they're begging when they're actually just requesting for their needs to be met. That's very interesting. Yeah, this final boss has some wounds, childhood wounds, that actually in the past may have had them doubt their relationships very often, kept them from being open with other people, kept them feeling as if they needed to subdue themselves. So this final boss is showing up, group number 4, as perhaps an inner final boss. Perhaps these are patterns that you're noticing in yourself. While you have a passion to serve others, it's as if when you are asking for your needs to be met, it feels as if you're taking advantage of people, when in reality, what you're asking for is something that you really deserve. Very interesting, huh? Yeah, there's a music group, dance group practicing outside my house. If you hear a drum, that's where it's coming from. Yeah, for the final boss for group number 4, there's a desire to feel empowered, to do things that would make one feel so empowered. But sometimes the final boss can get caught up in escapism, can get caught up in the fantasy, instead of taking the direct action to impact their life. They kind of zone out on fantasy. So group number 4, that would be kind of the vibe of your final boss. And you can decide, is this a final boss that's inside of me, or someone that I know that I've been needing to work on that relationship? So let's go to what steps you would need to take to confront this boss, especially when it comes to feeling as if they can't ask for help, feeling as if they have to care for others more than they care for themselves. Yeah, Spirit is saying here the way to confront this is to take a long, hard look on just what this boss has needed, what this boss has tried to extract from you, group number 4, to remain the boss. So there's some meditation there. There's some idea too that this boss, you're going to confront this boss because Spirit is saying here, you're always having to like figure out what choice to make. Group number 4. Like, who's this choice for? Is this choice going to open me up and provide me with opportunities? Or is this choice just someone else's choice? Me complying with what someone else desires. Very interesting. Yeah. 7 of Swords is it's coming out. It's almost as if Spirit is reminding you, group number 4, that part of the reason why this final boss exists as something or an energy to defeat is because it keeps you in a cycle of being used sometimes. It keeps you in a cycle of feeling like people betray you or take advantage of your generosity. And while that might be true, this final boss has a way of setting up the circumstances within you to accept certain people's behaviors. This is what I'm hearing from Spirit. So Spirit is saying here that the battle strategy for you, group number 4, has to be very clear because this final boss is blocking your blessings. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit. Yeah, Spirit is showing me here that the battle strategy is to understand, group number 4, you have the key to your own liberation. Quite literally, some of you, going back to this lifelong student, lifelong learning, some of you refuse to step into your power because you keep thinking there's more to learn, there's more to get certified on, there's more that I've got to know, I'm not ready yet. And the final boss keeps you in that energy, group number 4. And so this may be a moment, Spirit is saying, where your strategy is to seek outside assistance to help you strengthen your confidence. And that might mean going to therapy. That might mean going to a coach. That might mean taking on some kind of mentorship so that you can start to feel confident in the skills, the knowledge that you already have, group number 4. This final boss is a trickster for you because it keeps you in the cycle of doubting yourself, of doubting your possible next moves. That's why that 2 of Wands, I think, was coming up. Where did I see that? But yeah, it says here the trickster's only power is your trust. You're always free to withdraw it. So for you, this final boss, group number 4, you need to be able to let yourself go from it, extract yourself from it by trusting yourself, by loving yourself, by knowing that you have a great deal of knowledge. You have a great deal of power to move forward in your life, and that there's not going to be a person that comes up to you and says, I think you're ready to do this. You're the one that has to give yourself permission, group number 4. You're the one that has to say, I'm ready. I'm ready to move forward in my life. I'm ready to take a calculated risk because I've been doing certain amount of things this whole time in preparation. There's no more preparation, Spirit is saying here. There isn't anymore. So when you defeat this boss, because Spirit is saying you will, you will defeat this final boss, which is a part inside of you. And when you do, you will finally realize that you have learned how to push through and persevere through a very problematic characteristic that you've been carrying for a while, something that has to do with a childhood wound, some kind of programming you received that told you that you weren't good enough. And so you will learn how to persevere and even work through the tension of feeling like you're not ready. And you will take on a new attitude. People will notice this about you, group number 4. They're going to be like, something's different. Something is gone within you. That self-doubt is gone. And it's like you will take on the essence of the steps are kind of like that of a caterpillar. Because the caterpillar will take some moments to eat and get all of this nourishment, and then it begins to wrap itself in this cocoon, group number 4. And Spirit is showing me that when this caterpillar is in that cocoon, it liquefies. Its whole body goes through a metamorphic process that's quite painful because it's being reshaped. It's being renewed. And Spirit is saying, group number 4, that when you finally decide to take on this final boss within you, the final opt that keeps you from your dreams, that keeps you from your goals, it's going to feel like a liquefying process, somewhat painful, somewhat hard. But when you emerge, there's so much beauty. There's so much inner peace. You'll be so connected to your passion, and you'll be so connected to a sense of love that you have for yourself. It's renewed. And Spirit is saying, protect that love. Protect that wounded child that now gets a chance to heal because you have defeated the final boss, group number 4. And if you feel still there is some doubt on how to do this, group number 4, Spirit says that in the next upcoming days, 6 or even 10 days, you're going to receive clues from Spirit on how to move forward, how to take out this final boss. Very interesting. So let's get any final messages that Spirit might have. This is amazing, group number 4. Yeah, you will become the high priestess of your life, group number 4. And it's so interesting because the high priestess is holding a book. And again, your avatar is holding a book. Spirit is saying here, you must write down your healing process. You must continue to track the changes that are happening within you, because they're going to end up being the manual for your progress. Because you'll be able to go back in that journal and read where you were last year. And you're like, wow, I've changed. You need the evidence of that. And Spirit is saying that when you do this, group number 4, wow, you are going to release your burdens. There's something that's just going to be released. And you are ready to become the expert now, no longer the student. And you will connect with that deep part of yourself that has always known your inner genius. It may, for a few of you, even open up a road to a new relationship, one that is based on reciprocity, one that is based on balance, not just you serving group number 4, but this person being equally willing to give to you, even in big ways. Wow. And lastly, you will receive your justice defeating this final boss. You will feel the victory in that. And I also see, and Spirit is showing me, other people will see it in you, this victory. So group number 4, if you resonated with any or all of this reading, channeled message, could you give me a thumbs up? It's a great way, simple way to help me grow this brand new channel. And if you like the way that I channel messages and want to stay connected, please subscribe and then click the bell, because you'll get notified when I upload new readings and channeled messages. If this is where we part, group number 4, there's something about that book. Make sure that you're documenting something. Make sure you're writing out your process. You're writing out your dreams. That book is important. And that book could also just mean your knowledge base, okay? All right, group number 4, take care.